And a happy Saturday to you. Hello, Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. And let's see, welcome to Saturday. Hello. It is quite a Saturday. Let me see, my necklace is falling. I am going to be talking about some things you can do to empower yourself in the energy of this Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. But first, let me just do a little housekeeping. Hi, what's your name? Come on, say hello. Come say hello to me. Tell me your birthday. Do you have any Scorpio in you? I did my best to get rid of the ghosting in my hand, but then my hair turns green. So it's a matter of lighting. I don't know. It's the best I can do. So let's see. Lots to talk about today. I'm going to have to say, first let me just type in here. Hi. Come say hello to, it says hello. I don't know how to spell. Happy Saturday for those of, see, now there you are. You suddenly appeared. It's magic. Stars here and Lindsay, Shada, and okay, so we have an Aries, a Taurus. Thanks for joining me today. I know you're all busy people. I've seen all good people turn their heads each way. So today I was looking at just working with the runes again because my third book, Historical Fiction Fantasy, is going to be based on 8th century, and it's called The Viking Queen. So I'm working with the runes, getting back in touch with them. It's been so long. I mean, look at the bag. It's not ripped yet, but okay, we're close. And so I pulled one of the best runes ever, okay? These are one of the best runes ever. And it's just called the blank rune, okay? But you know what I tell a lot of my clients is just, there it is. It's just a tile. Oh my gosh, isn't that great? It's just a tile. A lot of times I'll tell my clients, what's harder, paint by numbers or a blank canvas? And it takes them all of 2 seconds. Oh, blank canvas. Because then I don't know what to do. Exactly. So it's all about trust. It's the unknowable. And before I go any further with the unknowable, hi, Brittany. Always happy to hear you. Thank you. You're welcome. Always happy to see your name pop up. So just a little housekeeping. Beginning November 3rd, those of us in the world who change clocks, we do not here in Arizona. So we're going to start a little bit different time frame. I'll still be here Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but with the holidays coming up and people visiting and such, it may be a little bit more difficult to do Saturdays, but we'll see. Do my best. But starting November 4th, 2019 through December 21st of 2000, well, we can go to the 31st, but there's a whole chunk that I won't be working, of 2019. I'm here Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. 9:30 a.m. Pacific, and that's 10:30 a.m. starting November 4th, Arizona time and Mountain time, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. And then I think it's 5:30 Greenwich Mean Time. Might be 4:30. I'll have to double check. But so just that. Okay. And if you're new to me, then you may not know that I say that the planets in the heavens, we're talking about astrology as well with the Mercury in retrograde, but the planets don't do anything to you. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When anything makes a move, you feel it. You may not be cognizant of it, but it is true. And when you make a move, the planets in astrology reflect that by way of aspects and angles. Now, there's so many systems in astrology, so I think Vedic is very accurate. It's a completely different system than Western. I like equal house astrology. And those are the two. They're very different. And in equal house astrology, you might be a Taurus. In Vedic, you might be an Aries. So, the definitions change. And sometimes people, they latch onto a thing and it's like, people get incensed. Oh my gosh, in this chart, I was a Scorpio and now I'm a Libra. What is that? And so you just have to be open to the possibility of transformation. Oh, wait, Isn't that what we're talking about today? Yeah, we are. Seriously, transformation can occur in 90 seconds, and I'm going to talk about that. So let me get back to this rune that I pulled. In the book written by Ralph Blum many years ago, or Bloom, but Blum, I believe, the Book of Runes has beautiful definitions, like it would in a tarot card reading. And the end, the beginning, the unknowable, it's all about trust. Now, Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio. Scorpio is all about trust because the transformation that occurs, the death, rebirth, doesn't have to be physical death. It's usually not related to physical death. It's usually all about your perceptions. Mercury, perceptions. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Last night I was thinking, what am I going to talk about tomorrow? I didn't have anything planned. I don't always plan. And I thought it'll come to me. And then it did. When I pulled the rune, I was like, yes, this is great. I love this. Okay, now here's something. It is, I don't know if it was written on a tablet or a grave, but this is from a warrior horseman wrote this word in the 6th century and Uppland in Sweden. And this is what it says. I'm reading. I no longer try to change outer things. They are simply a reflection. This is 6th century, and this guy knew this, okay? This is what we're talking about. I change my inner perception, and the outer reveals the beauty so long obscured by my own attitude. I added the echo. I concentrate on my inner vision and find my outer view transformed. That's the miracle. I find myself attuned to the grandeur of life and in unison with the perfect order of the universe. Now, I could drop the mic there, but we're going to talk about something. You may or may not have heard of Tony Robbins, motivational entrepreneur and speaker, and also Bruce Lipton, scientist, doctor, PhD. And I'm just going to focus in on some of their findings and experiences. And it's the same you've heard anywhere else, but maybe in different words from different people. You know, the oracles that we are spewing the same intel over and over, month after year, after century, after millennia, so that we all get it. Okay, so we can get it. Now, during this particular retrograde in Mercury and retrograde in Scorpio, a lot of people are going to get it. They're really going to see it. Reality. What's the reality? It's your own personal preference. It's what you've created. You know, so many times people go, oh, look, that thing happened. I'm a victim. Oh my gosh, look at what they're doing politically. I have no power. Okay. And I've been there. I've lived there in a trailer, 2 packs a day and living on emergency fudge. That was me. So I get it. I know it's easier to be that person who is the victim because then you're not responsible, or so you think. Now, here's a fun story. Anthony Robbins calls priming. He calls it priming your day. Now, you can go to anthonyrobbins.com or tonyrobbins.com and you can see all about priming. It's fantastic. But he tells this story, and this was a study that was done, a case study, okay? And this case study is true. And people on a street corner were asked, they had a team of, I don't even know what to call them, but this team of researchers were trying to find out if environment played a role in a person's mood or perception. Bear with me. So it was a cold day, and they were waiting at a red light. And so the moderator had a cup of coffee. It was hot. And said to the person next to them, do you mind holding my cup of coffee? I just have to grab my keys before I get to my car. And the person said, sure, no problem. So he grabbed the coffee, maybe took 10 seconds, grab the keys. Okay, great. Thanks so much. And then they crossed the street. Now, on the other side of the street, the guy that held the coffee was asked a question about the person who asked the favor. And I think it was over 98% of people who held the hot cup of coffee said about the person who asked them to hold the coffee. What was this person like? Oh, they were so kind, they were warm, they were friendly. I was happy to help. Okay. Now, let's go to another street on another day. There's an ice cold cup of coffee. Same routine. Hey, excuse me, do you mind before we cross the street? I just have to grab my keys. Could you just hold my cup? Sure, no problem. Holding the cold cup of coffee. Cold, with ice in it. Cold. Person crosses the street. Again, over 90% of the people interviewed were asked, what did they think about, what was their impression, their first impression of the person who asked them to hold the cold cup? What do you think they said? Yeah, not very friendly. Just like, almost rude. Temperature, okay? Temperature is a very basic environmental factor. Some people love when it's cold. Some people love when it rains. Some people get headaches when it rains. Some people love, the heat and they love to sweat. And so temperature has a bearing on where we live, why we live, if we can have the choice, and how we feel in our day. Would you say that's true? I would. You put me in the middle of a swamp, I am complaining the whole time. My God, it's so hot. My clothes are sticking to me. I can't stand it. I feel like I weigh 4,000 pounds, Then you put me in a dry climate like, Sedona. And I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. Wherever possible, do your absolute best to change your perception by changing your immediate atmosphere, immediate environment. That is a real thing. That's a real thing. Isn't that so darn cool? So how does this apply to who you are, to what's going on in your day, to what, everything you want to create or manifest and it's not working? Well, then we talk about Bruce Lipton, or we could talk about any of the other motivational speakers, myself included, who understand that you have a conscious mind, and that conscious mind has a projection, a goal. Oh, I love my life. I love my work. Yeah, that thing over there, that's not so great, but I'm pushing through. I'm working on changing it. I'm really excited. I have a goal. I'm moving toward it. I am manifesting something. Then there's the unconscious part of you. The unconscious part of you, where I believe it's over 70 to 75%, has already been pre-programmed to absorb the opinion by the age of 7. I don't know if you've heard me talk prior about your dreams coming true by the age of 7. It's like, that's when morality turns on. You start to value certain things, but your values are handed to you by the people who raise you and your environment. So, for instance, I grew up in a very fear-based environment, very poverty, consciousness-stricken environment. No fault of my parents. We lived in a railroad apartment. We didn't have a lot of money. We lived through race riots and fires and, oh my gosh, they have guns. You have to stay inside. Yeah. So by the time I'm 7 years old, even though I love to write and I love to dance and I love to draw and I want to help people, I already knew that I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to play the piano. I wanted to do all these things, and that was my dream, and that's where I was going. But anytime I moved toward that dream, it was what took over, the fear. So I want you to really think about your perceptions, especially during this Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio, because it doesn't matter if you have Scorpio in your chart or not. Everyone has Scorpio in their chart. But I'm talking about, like, even if you're not a sun, rising, moon, Mars in Scorpio, Mercury in Scorpio, that's okay. Jupiter in Scorpio, it's okay. If you don't have any planetary Scorpio, that's okay. Because what's happening is the energy that we're going to, dive into, I think of Gandalf fighting the Balrog. I've come across those moments, right? Where you're just like, you're falling through time with a beast and you've got to slay the beast. So what's going to come up for a lot of people during this particular retrograde is, I don't like this thing. I don't like this about me. I don't like this about them. I don't like this about where I live. This is not for me. And I have to change it. So then what kicks in is I'm going to manifest a change. I'm going to do I got this. I'm going to do this thing. And then as you move toward that thing, you get pulled back by the fear. Now, because we're going to be in a Mercury in retrograde, you have the opportunity to not attach to it so much so that you can actually transform. Remember, we've been talking about here's your desire, here's your passion, here's your obsession. So what are you obsessing about? And if you know it's at the sake of, that's an obsession. If you're working so much, you haven't eaten, you didn't go to the bathroom, you forgot to answer your email, you didn't check in with your kids, or your family or other obligations, that's obsession. You're watching that lover that didn't call you back, and you start following them and stalking them on Instagram and Facebook. Please don't do that. Where is your energy going? Right? That's what we want to look at. And so if you can take 90, and I've talked about different neurological exercises that anybody can do, and to change the moment that you're in, that is obsessive, that is not productive, that is negative or fear-based. Because that's what it all is. Your perception is going to be based on, your outer perception is going to be based on what you think is possible. And by the time you were 7 years old, you were told what was possible. You were told what wasn't possible. And so that's the foundation that you're trying to build on. So it keeps crumbling. What do you want keeps crumbling. Now you can get ahead, you can make a lot of money, you can have a fabulous relationship, but the person who has wealth, health, passion, purpose, all in the same lifetime is the person who knows how to change their perceptions. Ta-da! Make sense? Thumbs up? What are we thinking? Any questions on that? So, with me and my Harry Potter wand, which I found, I couldn't find it the other day, and my Sorcerer's Stone, Nuamite, thank you very much, and my new crackle crystal, I have a crackle crystal. I love it so much. It fixed itself to my hand, it wouldn't let go. There was a gem and mineral show here in Sedona, which I like to go to, and I used to bring our kid, but now it's just me. Anyway, I had the best time. I was like, oh, do I need more rocks? No, not really need them. But they were fun. This one was calling my name. Elaine. Oh, also, got to show you this. Selenite. Master healer, especially good for earth signs. It's an optical stone. Oh, it's kind of hard to see because of the... but if you hold something behind it, I'll put my... I don't know if this is going to work, but if you hold something behind it, it comes up. Oh, it's not going to work, but it magnifies it because it's an optical stone. And they use selenite and in optics, in glass making. And anyway, but if I put my hand on top of it, my fingers are closer than the rest of my hand. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I digress. So, in other videos, I've talked about changing the thought the moment it's happening and it's gripped you and you can't escape it. And it's that same, and you know what they are. You do, right? Sure you do. Oh, it's never going to happen. How many times have I asked them to not do that thing and they're still doing that thing? Okay, it's not about them. Eventually, it becomes a pattern and a habit that you do this thing and then the other outcome happens or doesn't happen. So what is the world? Basically, it is billions of realities in play. And then you're bumping into those realities all day long. Family, friends, coworkers, people on the street, people in a supermarket, all these realities. And they have a million realities. And they're also basing it on fear and projection of the future and what's possible. So with all these perceptions happening simultaneously in the world, you have to create like a little bubble for yourself. It's really important that you wake up in the morning and have a default device that resets you. And this is straight from the world of science. So the moment you're having this thing, you can either and or combine them. Clap your hands 5 times. Jump up and down 5 times. Burst into song for 5 seconds. Do all 3 and or for 20 seconds on the dot, you can clock it, do absolutely nothing. And that negative charge that you have, that perception, it fades. Experiment with this. Pay attention to this. Because you have the ultimate power. Ultimate power. You have the ultimate power to change what you want in your world. Now, by the time, let's say, you've amassed debt, or you've been really wounded in a relationship, or your body's not doing so great, you didn't feed it, or you used to smoke, or you did drugs, or whatever, the actual environment, the water that we drink. Yeah, you want to have your water checked. Oh, you can go to the EWG group, Environmental Working Group. And I believe they have if you sign up for Dr. Axe's, he's a naturopathic doctor online. He's sending out a link. In fact, if I could find it right now, I will get it to you and I'll put it in the box, and you can check your water, see what's in it. Now, a reverse osmosis right now is the best to filter. The carbon filters that you have, they get maybe 2 or 3 out of 10 of the toxins and poisons. But let me see if I can find that right now while I'm thinking of it. And so I think it's important that you check your water, because that has a huge effect on your environmental perceptions. Okay? So here's the site. Okay. So you can check on, wait a minute. Is this it? I believe this is it. You can check on a state. You go to your state, you plug in your zip code, and then you find out what's going on in your city. And with your water, I'll post it right now. And it's pretty fascinating. So you want to remedy with reverse osmosis. Right now, that's the cleanest way to clean your water, the most efficient way to clean your water. Okay, cool. So we jump up and down, we burst into song, we clap our hands, we combine them, or we do absolutely nothing in a meditative Zen state. This is my resting face. For 20 seconds, and it fades. But then you must replace with a positive. Replace with a positive. That's where your conscious mind comes in and says, and then fill in the blank. I am so grateful for, fill in the blank. This chair, electricity, my computer, people who like to watch my Facebook lives, where I live, great food, family, friends, support, cash when I need it, great movies, whatever, the pillow. Oh, it's so cozy. Grateful for, fill in the blank. When you start to focus more on the gratitudes, remember, I've talked about this so many times before. What happens is that you change the environment in which your whole world, your body, mind, spirit is encapsulated. So when you change your environment, what do you think happens to your thoughts? You start to operate more from the conscious manifesting side rather than the unconscious fear-based. It literally changes the cells in your body. Literally. That's what Bruce Lipton talks about. So you want to change illness, you want to change patterns. You start there. Let me just check in and say hello. Come say hello. Yes, filter drinking water and shower water if contaminated. Yes, and most of the water that we drink today in this country is contaminated. There is at least 2 to 3. Our city got pretty good rating. So there's only 2 things. We have a lot of arsenic in the water because we live in the mountains. So we have reverse osmosis. Yeah. Thank you, Sage, for that. So when you change your environment on the inside, having a clean body, good pH levels, excellent food, clean water, we're starting to take the basics for granted, folks. And so pretty soon in the next 20 to 50 years, those basics are going to be a commodity. What's the next biggest? Is it Bitcoin? It's going to be water. it's going to be water, right? So take care of it now. Act on things when you can. Write to your Congress. I think at the EWG site, you can also donate because they do the work. This is a free place. They test things. Makeup. All the makeup that is on my face was approved. And the shampoo that I use and the conditioner is approved by EWG. And they tell you what's carcinogenic, what's allergic, what causes asthma, what's a pollutant to the environment. It's a fabulous place. Okay, so I'm going to pull a rune for people. Oh, I just instead of my mouse, I grabbed this. All right, I'm going to navigate through some world. Good. This is all making sense, says Sasha. That was a tongue twister. All making sense, says Sasha. Okay, good. So I'm going to pull a rune for the collective today. And if you're watching this in a replay, just remember that, energy doesn't die. There's no such thing as the death of an atom. So you may write me a question, whether here on Facebook or in YouTube, and tell me your birthday. I may not respond. My focus is elsewhere, but thank you for watching. But please comment and let me know if you like the videos and if they're helping you and how they're helping you, because that can only help other people as well. But getting back to time, it's irrelevant on this earth. We measure time by, first I'm going to do this at 10 o'clock, and then at 11:30, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to, So we measure our existence by time, but really, it's just a tool for our egos to help manage all of our stuff. But truly, even if you're watching this in a replay, I'm with you right now. You and I share the same, or occupying the same moment. And here's what I've said to Gemini, Gemini rising, Gemini moon forever, but I'm going to apply this to everyone right now. The moment you start thinking about an experience that you're having is the moment you stop having the experience. To be in an experience is actually to be like in an amusement park ride, like a virtual ride. We were like, whoa, it's Star Wars. Yay, Avatar. Oh my gosh, I'm flying with the Banshees. You're in it. Your body responds to it chemically. It alters the cell, every cell in your system. So when you're feeling the most joy, that is when you can activate and harmonize all your stuff and manifest efficiently, quite efficiently. So think about that. Oh, Sasha says that. Oh, you're so sweet. I love your videos. To all my awoken friends. Wake up, wake up. Time to wake up now. Braveheart, wake up, William. It's time to wake up now. I'm going to pull a rune, and I'm going to call on Odd, who I'm going to be writing about, a live person who was a queen back in the 800s. Odd the Deep-Minded. This is my book of Gemini. But I'm going to call on Odd the Deep-Minded, who is wise in counsel, to help us today to move forward. Let's see what we have. Is this Soelu? And thanks for being here, by the way. I'll be back on Monday. Yes, I will. Talking about more good stuff. Okay, Awaz. And here's what it looks like. Awaz has no upside down, has no reverse. If there appears to be an obstacle in your path, remember that even a delay may prove beneficial. Is that not most apropos for the Mercury in retrograde, when we want to push forward and we can't always because things are delayed? Why is the planet doing it to us? Are you a victim? Are you a puppet? No. But it causes room for pause, doesn't it? When you're moving towards something, you don't get what you want. You might be bummed. You're like, I worked so hard on that. How come I didn't get that promotion, that raise? How come they didn't call me back? How come my boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, lover, self didn't come through? What happened? Did I do something wrong? I mean, that's the reality check we all give ourselves. Did I do something wrong? How come that didn't work? because you live in a cooperation with the cosmos, my friends. So sometimes, in order for your need to be met, in the same moment, someone else's need or some other part of you has a need to be met, some things have to be moved, reassembled, renegotiated. And you don't always see what that looks like. Because I would always say to myself, if I didn't get that thing, or if that client didn't want to do the work and they didn't come back, that's okay. That saves me time, energy. It's not about the money. That's how I make my living. This is how I make my living. But I would rather have one client who is working on themselves than 3 clients who don't. Got it? So perseverance is called for. Set your house in order, tend to business, be clear, and wait on the will of what he calls heaven. I wouldn't call it heaven. I would call it consciousness. So spiritual warrior takes time to clean their fishing nets, sharpen their tools, take care of the business at hand right now. That's the call to transformation today. Thank you, Odd, the deep-minded, for that. And I'm going to read again what, in closing here, before I come back on Monday, I'm going to read this again. And hang on, I don't have my calendar in front of me. But Monday, October 28th. Okay, so we will not have changed clocks yet. I'm going to read this again. And this, and again, I don't know if it was just carved in runes on a stone and found by an archaeologist, or if it was on a grave site. But it is from a warrior horseman and from Uppland, Sweden in the 6th century. And it says, in translation, through runes, I no longer try to change outer things. They are simply a reflection. I change my inner perception, and the outer reveals the beauty so long obscured by my own attitude. I concentrate on my inner vision, right, and find my outer view transformed. I find myself attuned to the grandeur of life and in unison with the perfect order of the universe. That from a warrior horseman in the 6th century. Okay? This isn't new stuff. You can grab hold. You can utilize these tools. You can transform your world in 90 seconds. Jump up and down. Burst into song. Combine the 3 or do nothing for 20 seconds and watch it fade and diminish, and then replace it with that conscious perception of, I am powerful. I have power. I have the power to transform my cellular level. I have the power to heal my body. I have the power to stand inside myself, body, mind, spirit. And spirit is everywhere, but when you activate your spirit, what happens when you align? There you go. When we align, it's like winning the award in the British baking show. I love that show, by the way. You have it. You have it in. Click your heels 3 times, Dorothy. There's no place like Om. No place like Om. So go there. Go there often. Takes 90 seconds. Then repeat. Then repeat. Then repeat. And focus on the thing you want to create. And during this Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio, miracles will happen. .com. Okay. So now please subscribe. You know, my husband is away for the longest time ever since I met him. So he's going to be traveling and doing some business. And so he has the guy who uploads the videos to YouTube. So right now, in the next 2 weeks, I won't be uploading videos to YouTube, but you can still subscribe and click on the little bell, and you'll be notified of new and fresh content. Ta-da! Thank you. Beautiful. Have a wonderful day. Be present, be focused, and remember, the unknowable is in your hands. Bless. See you on Monday.